I just hope some of the glitches are ironed out in Assassin's Creed 3, because we're going to be playing Assassin's Creed 3 remastered, so it's not just a newer game, it's a newer game that's been touched up. So hopefully Ubisoft figured out by then, okay, these bugs appeared in all these other PC ports of our games, maybe we should squish them. I really hope Assassin's Creed 4 goes smoothly, though, because that's the one I'm looking forward to the most. And probably the one I'm going to spend the most time on. Love Black Flag. It really is peak. It really is peak Assassin's Creed. You have Edward, who goes from a selfish, not well off pirate to someone who actually understands and cares about the Brotherhood. It really was amazing to watch him make that transition over the course of the game. I wonder how long the credit list is for some of the more modern Assassin's Creed games versus this one, just to see how many people worked on these games versus how many of them are on the team nowadays. The new ones are bigger in size, not magnitude. Like you had this game which recommended what, half a gigabyte of video memory, and then you have Assassin's Creed Shadows that let me log on to. Let me pull up Steam on my other laptop real quick. Let me look at Shadows' system requirements. Assassin's Creed Shadows. Mixed reviews on Steam. I don't think that surprises anyone. Calls for 16 gigabytes of RAM and 8 gigabytes of VRAM. And how buggy do you think that game is compared to Revelations? The 16 gigabytes of RAM and 8 gigabytes of VRAM for Shadows versus Revelations. Let's pull this up. Versus 2 gigabytes of RAM and half a gigabyte of VRAM and 12 gigabytes of hard drive space. And look at how much they accomplished with that little hardware. Okay, hold on, my mom's calling. Okay, I'm back, and like, yeah, that's how you know gaming has really gone downhill, because up until like when could we say that gaming really started declining? Well, up until the decline, gaming was seen as a form of art. Like, people realized what they could make with computers, and then they started asking themselves, how much can we create? And then at some point that mindset shifted to video games became more mainstream, people saw what video games could create, and they started asking themselves, how much money can we make off of this hardware? And I say, and that's really where the sentence should have ended. It's video games stopped being seen as an art form and started being seen as a commodity to be manufactured and shipped out to the lowest bidder. Like Assassin's Creed Shadows, Borderlands 4. What's another big title that doesn't run very well? But like you get what I'm saying. You see these big companies putting out these enormous games and no one can play them, either because the requirements are just sky high or because they're just not optimized. I guess those kind of go hand in hand. The requirements are sky high because the games aren't optimized and because they're not debugged. You have these monsters of games running on inefficient code. That is... People need to see the importance of fixing their games before they get shipped out. And that's also why you're not seeing games that are standing the test of time anymore. Like, you're not seeing Half-Life, you're not seeing any more Gordon Freemans, you're not seeing any more Ezios, you're not seeing any more Kratoses. Because those characters were created back when people still gave a shit about the games they made. And now it's like any franchise that comes out nowadays just isn't going to hold up. Not seeing any more good Zelda games scroll down a little. Not seeing any more good Zelda games, in my opinion. Yeah. And like... Okay, so Metroid Prime 4 is finally coming out this December. Metroid Prime 3 came out all the way back in 2007. All those years of people saying, hey, we want another Metroid game. It's just, no, more Mario, more Kirby, more Zelda. And now, like, even the shit we've seen of Metroid Prime 4 doesn't seem promising after all that waiting. I'm just glad Metroid Prime 4 is going to be out on the Switch 1. I really would have hated to buy a Switch 2 just to play what seems like it's going to be other M2. Pokemon is a perfect example. Pokemon is a fantastic example. Very good point, Ryan. God, there's a specific example of Pokemon I'm thinking of, but now I can't think of it. Oh well, I haven't been into Pokemon since I haven't been really into Pokemon since like the 3DS era, like Black and White 2, X and Y, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire. Scarlet and Violet, I think that's what I'm thinking of. Oh. We were yammering so long, my controller shut itself off. Can I just go back into the Animus? Whee! Like Legends Arceus was decent, but other than that, like even Pokemon isn't holding up anymore. Why